People love being recognized, but then don't recognize them for being gay. But then they want you to recognize them for being, I don't even know what's going on anymore. But yeah, it was very gay in the city the past couple of days I've been here. I saw a bunch of guys. They were dressed up like Oompa Loompas. I'm assuming it's for the gay thing. They're dressed like Oompa Loompas. And there were a bunch of people dressed up like Minion walking around. I don't even know what this is. I assume it has to be something to do with the gay festivities. June is Gay Pride Month. And they just used to call it the Gay Parade. As far as I remember when I was a kid and everything, they called the New York City Pride Parade, what's called now, the Gay Parade. But now it's Pride. Because proud? Because I don't know what it is. I'd like to think I could throw a girl a good one. Or at least I used to be able to. But the idea of wanting to flaunt that and be proud of it is silly. It is just silly. It fit a lot. Well, it was a lot more descriptive when it was just called the Gay Parade. There's men walking around in G-strings, if that at all, and there are children lining the streets of this parade, and it's called Pride, like to be proud of something. So if I accomplished something really cool, could I just join in because I'm proud of an invention I came up with or a song or something? Oh, I can't because it's the Gay Parade. It has nothing to do with pride. It's just they tested the word gay and it didn't test as well as pride. So they just keep changing things to try to make it more palatable for the people out there that maybe they don't like gays. I don't know why. I mean, for the most part, gay people, you don't even notice them. And that's the way it should be. I think that's what most gay people were trying to go for. Just being a person who liked the people that were the same sex as they were. And they lived their lives. You don't have to know about it. You don't know what goes on in your heterosexual neighbors' bedrooms, do you? I hope not. But you're peeking in the windows? But for some reason, gay people, they feel this need to be like, yes, we have this type of sex, and we're very proud of it. There's a whole month where we tell you how proud we are of it, and then there's a day where we parade down the street and tell you how proud we are of it. And maybe I'm a little naive, but I would like to believe that the vast majority of gay people hate this. They just hate it. I think it's with a lot of activism. Like, I think a lot of black people don't like Black Lives Matter. And I think a lot of gay people don't like pride, this nonsense, because it's directly against the idea that you just want to be treated like everyone else. You go to your job, you buy a house, you pay your taxes, whatever it is. But for some reason, it's got to be flamboyant and just gay, the whole gay thing. And it's embarrassing, I think. I think a lot of people are embarrassed by it. A lot of gay people, they just look and see, again, do you really need the 5 guys marching down the street with their asses hanging out, just being over the top gay and proud that you have sex a certain way? Because that's really all there is. If there's a difference, if you really want to find the difference between gay people and hetero people, the only difference would be that they have sex in a very different way than heterosexual people. And everything else is supposed to be the same. That's kind of the selling point. Oh, why are you so homophobic? We just want to lead our lives and do this. Oh, but when we get in the bedroom, we have this crazy way of having sex. It's the only difference, but I swear to you, we want to let you know that is the big difference, and that's what we do, and this is how we have sex. And it's ridiculous. It's just silly. And we've been forced into celebrating this. Remember when it was just tolerance? We want tolerance. We want a tolerant people. And tolerance obviously means to tolerate. You're not there with cheerleader pom-poms, yay, this is great. Literally tolerating something. You could hate something. But if you tolerate it, you're just like, all right, I'll tolerate that. I'll put up with it. And then when people started tolerating the whole gimmick of what gay people were parading about and the pride thing, that wasn't enough. Then it became, you have to celebrate it. And then once you drag religion into the whole thing, is that a mess? Because obviously there are people that are from the school of thought that when they pick up a Bible and read it, it says horrible things about gay people and what they want done to gay people. And, plenty of religions. Obviously, we've heard what goes on in some of these Islamic countries. Whenever a gay person thinks the United States is the worst place to live and so homophobic and, gay people are dying, trans people, how many have lost their lives this year? You're parading down one of the busiest streets in the busiest city in the world, and you're allowed to do it, and it's celebrated. I don't know. Seems like a pretty good deal. When then you look at Islamic nations, and, well, we all know about the old tour of the rooftop bar that they have there. So I don't know. It seems like you got a pretty good thing going. Kind of back off a little bit. Because the whole idea that there are certain rights that aren't being given to gay people and are being given to other heterosexual citizens of the United States is insane. I defy you to find one thing that gay people cannot do. You'd be very, very hard pressed to find that. Anyway, it just happens. I just talked about it right before we started here. That I come here, and it's and it's gay parade day. I picked the one day to come in. I come into the city once a month, and I picked the gay parade day. I don't mind. I have plenty of gay friends and gay people that I have no problem with them whatsoever. Good for you. But again, a whole city just getting behind this is just a little over the top at this point. Is there a point where the protesting and the begging for equality and the fight, we've come a long way, but it's like, yeah, you have, and there's no reason to continue. You've achieved the goal. Every single one of these groups just says, well, we need to continue. We had all this stationery printed up and all these things, and what are we supposed to do, throw it away? No. They absolutely need to keep it going. And I guess one of the grand marshals today for the parade was Joe Biden's secretary, the press secretary. What was her name? KJB. What's her name? Kath. I can't remember. Do you remember?
Jean-Pierre.
Yes, Jean-Pierre. Yeah, she was. Because her claim to fame...
KJP.
KJP, that's it. KJP. Her claim to fame was that she was a lesbian.
I'm sorry. Karine
Karine Jean-Pierre.
That's Karen with an I.
Yes,
Karine.
yes, exactly. Karine, of course. Why can't it just be Karen? Karen John Pete or something, but it's no. Karine Jean-Pierre. And it's just, she wasn't good at her job. Why be proud to have her as the person? She lied about Biden's Alzheimer's. She never gave a straight answer as to what the administration was doing. But that's your grand marshal for your pride parade. If anything, you should be proud of the person that you're putting in there. But I guess as long as she likes the old scissor action, that's all the qualification you need. Scissor. What's some of the other things I could say here? Docking. Is that docking? Wait, the Apollo spacecraft used to do that. That's right. Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins. They got the docking together. Boy, the word gay changing was enough. It went from happy, Flintstone song, we'll have a gay old time. And now you kind of chuckle, even now when I hear it, we'll have a gay old time. You're like, yeah, he's having a gay time, Beavis. Yeah, gay old time. And now, docking has taken on a whole new meaning. You can't say it without your dumb friends laughing. Oh, my goodness. We are just beginning. Do not stray far. We continue in moments with the Anthony Cumia Show. I am Zorhan Mamdani. It's like a Star Trek robot thing. Zorhan, we do not like socialism. He's all over the place. I mean, this guy is a hit. He is a hit. He, of course, nailed down the Democratic primary nomination. He is your ticket, Democrats. Hope you're happy. A lot of them are. It's astounding watching this guy. I saw a video of it. He posted a picture about a week ago of him eating on the subway. He was on a New York City subway train. His little tin of food was on one of the seats. He's sitting on another seat, hunched over it, eating on the subway. I would sooner starve to death. I would sooner walk off of there looking like I just left Treblinka in 45 than eat on a subway. Could possibly be the most disgusting conveyance ever. We've seen what happens there. The homeless people go into the subways because they have nowhere else to go, hence homeless. And they use the subway for everything and anything, changing one set of filthy clothes to another, eating, sleeping, and of course, defecation. Defecation. Oh, Jesus Christ, they're defecating. It's honestly some of the most disgusting things ever. You learn very quickly when you're in New York if you're waiting on the platform and you see a subway train go by and it's stopping, and you see that it's packed. It's just packed. And then you see one car and it's empty. You go, hey, I'm going for that one. That is your first and last time you will make that error if you're brandy new to New York. Because there is a reason that car is empty. Noxious fumes is usually it. A homeless person is sleeping on one of the seats. The waft coming off of them is really like a dead animal, or they have relieved themselves in the car, and it is just uninhabitable by people, even for one stop. And there he is, Zorhan Mamdani. He's eating on the train. Disgusting, just disgusting. And then I saw another video. He's doing an interview. And he's got another tin of some chicken and rice stuff. This was today I saw it. and he's talking, and he's picking up the rice and chicken with his hand and shoving it in his mouth like something from Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. Remember when they had dinner? Chilled monkey brains. And he's just shoving this in his face and smiling like he's eating with fine cutlery. I did take note if he was eating with his right or left hand, because growing up we always knew, hey, what hand do you shake hands with? Okay, my right hand. So the other hand is used to clean up after, you know. I don't have to tell you people. But, and that we're just supposed to be, that's supposed to be endearing. We're supposed to look at somebody eating like it's in the BC times. Oh, it's 3000 BC. That's what I think. I think 2999 BC, they invented the fork. And this guy's still just eating with his hands. And it's not food. It's not a chicken wing. I understand, you eat chicken wings with your hands. This guy's shoveling rice and chicken into his face with his fingers. I guess just trying to show his culture, whatever it is. But this Mamdani guy, and this is just small stuff. This is his policies are absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Here's a few of them. Let me pop these up. His plans. He wants to support existing decarceral legislation. Decarceral legislation is incarcerating people, how people are incarcerated. He doesn't like anyone being incarcerated. He likes people to get out of jail, no matter how violent they are, no matter how evil the crimes they commit. End cash bail, that's already been done here in New York, to just an amazing result, isn't it? Knowing that some of the most violent offenders get out. Remember when that first started and they said, yeah, we're going to do bail reform. They didn't tell you reform meant just do away with it. And it's going to make the city safer. I don't know how. They were never able to sell that angle. And they said it'll only be for nonviolent crimes, like someone's walking around with a joint and they get arrested, which never happens for just a joint. We let them out. We let them out with no bail. And then you realize, oh, they were lying. It's all unbelievably violent criminals, mental patients, people with weapons, assaults, and they let them out. So that's what they want to do. Repeal walking while trans. This has been a thing, it's called prostitution. The trans part has nothing to do with it. If you used to drive up and down the West Side Highway many years ago by the Javits Center, there were hookers out there. Or so I was told. Someone told me that. Jim Norton told me that. But it's not walking while trans. It's street walking. It's hookers out there because their pimps are forcing them out there. This isn't a victimless crime. These people are victims. If there's a demand for prostitution, then the supply has to come from somewhere. And that's where human trafficking comes in and everything. Don't let them tell you it's a victimless crime. The sex worker industry. Oh, like you're part of the union. Oh, I'm a sex worker. Local 385. Decriminalize sex work, same thing. Legalize marijuana. Well, we've seen that. I think this is from like 2022 or 2020 when he started saying this is the stuff he would want to do if he was elected to office. Legalizing marijuana has been a terrible thing. It sounded great when I was young. You would think like legalized pot. It'd be, yeah, man, it's going to be awesome. And the reality of it is terrible. It's just the whole city reeks of weed. And you know when you would just catch a waft of gasoline while you're fueling up your car, you go, ooh, I kind of like that. It's gasoline, but there's something kind of nice about the aroma of a very small whiff of gasoline. It's not like you shove your head in a tanker and take deep breaths. And that's what the weed thing is now with New York City having legalized weed. And everyone's stoned and lazy and stupid. And it was just a terrible idea. We'll talk more about this. Of course, you could call us 800-848-9222, and we'll get your comments instead of just me blathering on about things. Back in a minute, Anthony Cumia Show. Just look to make New York, amazingly enough, even worse than Adams has made it. And I guess it kind of started with de Blasio. Mayor de Blasio here in New York City was just a disaster. I didn't like Bloomberg, but he was a business guy, so he kept New York in the money. You know, he knew tourism was a big thing. He was definitely not a socialist or a communist like Mamdani. But once that de Blasio got in there, just downhill. And then Adams. The only thing that made Adams at least almost tolerable in New York City is that he was ready to be indicted on corruption charges, and the Trump Justice Department gave him a break. So now it seems like all he can do is do whatever Trump wants him to do, which is kind of cool. You know, Trump has a puppet mayor in New York. But I don't know. It kind of looks like this Mamdani guy has a pretty good lead on everyone else. I would hope that between Cuomo and Adams running as independents, and they are Democrats, let's be honest, and Mamdani running as a Democrat, you're splitting that Dem vote three ways, and maybe someone, you know, Curtis can slip in there if enough Republicans get out and vote. But I think Republicans in New York they're just a beaten dog. They just go, what am I going to vote? What do you want, hope? Think I have any hope that this will work? So I don't even think Republicans go out for a mayoral election anymore in New York. But, you know, enough get out there, and that vote split three ways between Democrats. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? But Mamdani does seem to be the guy right now. I almost forgot that Zorhan is the clown of the week this week. I didn't do clown of the week when I was supposed to, but maybe we can slip it in right now. Clown of the week.
The Anthony Cumia Show presents the clown of the week.
There it is. You know, it's a clown of the week when you're at the end. So, this guy is a disaster, yet so many people are psyched about him. We were talking about the things that he wants to instate and put in place when he's mayor. We ended on legalized marijuana, permit safe injection sites. This works so well. You see these cities like Seattle, San Francisco, having a place where mentally ill drug addicts can go and spike up, as they say, so they could just terrorize and horrify people in the city. That's great. Instead of taking care of the problem, you just let people do whatever they want. Restrict solitary confinement? Isn't that the only thing left in jail? If there's nothing like solitary confinement, no kind of punishment in jail or in prison, wouldn't you just do whatever you want? Doesn't that seem to be the thing? There was always a threat of in the hole, weak in the hole, in the hot box. But now he wants to get rid of solitary confinement. So, not that I mind if prisoners kill each other, but, kind of in a perfect world, it would seem like you would need a punishment while you're being punished. Re-enfranchise the incarcerated. Isn't this something that is tried all the time? But the rate of success when someone gets out of prison and is actually given jobs, given a place to live, they screw up. They start hanging out with the people they used to hang out with. It's very difficult to re-enfranchise the incarcerated. 1 in a million. It's not the movies. It's like homeless people, too, who usually have some criminal record. It's not a movie. It's not Will Smith putting on his suit in a gas station bathroom to go to a job interview because he's homeless and he's got his son and he's washing up and then going on these interviews. That is complete fallacy. They're mentally ill for the most part, mentally ill. Decriminalize simple drug possession. It is decriminalized. There's nobody in prison, like I said before, for just a joint. Oh, we can't have people in prison 20-year sentences because they had a joint in their pocket. No one. I defy you to find one person in prison because they were arrested with a joint in their pocket. Oh, what was in the other pocket? Oh, a gun. They're a convicted felon with a gun. Oh, all that for a joint? No, see, you forgot the other part. They want to make it sound like people are being incarcerated for these nothing crimes like a joint or trespassing or whatever. But the truth of the matter is there's a lot more behind that. This is just their way to get real violent criminals back out on the street. And I don't know why they would want that, but they seem to. Reduce maximum sentences with retroactive effect. So you get a maximum sentence the judge gives you because you're really garbage, gives you 20 years. And now you can change it to, 10 years? And since it's retroactive, if the guy served 10, he's out? He just gets let go? And this guy is actually saying his policies will make the city safer. They always say that. And you look at the policies and go, there's no way any rational human being would say that this is making the city safer. It just doesn't work. And, of course, end cooperation with ICE. That is a biggie. New York, of course, is already a sanctuary city. But Mayor Adams, like I said, he's kind of indebted to the Trump administration, the MAGA policies. So he's gotten into the practice of working with ICE. You remember the thing that got him in trouble in the first place was when he said, hey, Biden, you can't keep letting illegals come to New York City. We're going broke. We can't afford the hotel rooms for these people and all the other free money that you're just giving them, credit cards. And that really, really made Washington angry. So they figured out something to indict him on. And when Trump and his Justice Department dropped any of those charges, he kind of became indebted to Donald Trump. So he's been working with ICE. Mamdani is not going to work with ICE. That is for sure. This guy is complete. He has complete and total power and wants this to be a sanctuary city. And I love that the Trump administration is saying, no, go screw. It's not allowed. We will come to New York. We will start locking up and deporting illegals. And just the audacity that this guy thinks that it makes for a better city to have illegals around. And they don't call them illegals. They call them our citizens. New Yorkers. They've worked here. They've paid their taxes. Stop. Just stop. So here is Mamdani. He's talking about how he'll fight ICE and have this sanctuary New York paradise.
Questions. Let's talk about immigration, deportation. Are you committed to keeping New York as a sanctuary city?
Absolutely, because ultimately we've seen that this is a policy that has kept New Yorkers safe for decades. It's a policy that had previously been defended by Democrats and Republicans alike until the fear-mongering of this current mayor. And it's a policy that we've seen ensures that New Yorkers can get out of the shadows and into the full life of the city that they belong to. And it's one that I will be proud to stand up for.
Well, you know, the border czar, Tom Homan, has said that he is planning to deploy ICE agents to New York, worksite enforcement to essentially increase and enhance the number of ICE agents here. If that happens on your watch, how do you plan to handle it?
We have to stand up and fight back, and we haven't seen that from our current mayor, who has instead been working with the Trump administration to assist in their goal of building the single largest deportation force in American history. I mean, we saw ICE agents arrest a migrant at Federal Plaza, and then we saw NYPD officers arresting a pastor who was peacefully observing that arrest. Those days are going to come to an end when I'm the mayor. The NYPD's job is to create public safety in the city, not to assist ICE agents in their mission to attack the very fabric of the city.
fabric of the city. Citizens, New Yorkers. You hear how he talks about them? Migrants. He'll say anything aside from illegal aliens, people that are here illegally. These are not citizens. They are trying so hard to create this impression that these are American citizens, that Donald Trump is throwing out people that have every right to be in this country. And that is absolutely false. You could have your ideas about it. You could want illegals to live here. You could want amnesty for every single one of them. But that doesn't change the fact that they are here illegally. And to have the potential mayor of New York City, which has a giant illegal population, to say that he will fight ICE and he will try his best to prevent them from doing their job and doing the job that Trump was elected to do is insane. And there are people that are ready, willing, and able, chomping at the bit, as they say. Or is it champing at the bit? To vote for this guy and hope that he does not work with ICE to get rid of this financial burden, criminal burden that illegals are putting on New York City. And then combined with everything else this idiot is doing, the prospect for a safe, prosperous New York City, everything he says he wants to do is detrimental to the city in every way, shape, or form. When you look at his, one of my favorite things is the state-run grocery stores. And God only knows what else he wants state-run. The city, New York City, hasn't run anything and been a success at it. Imagine a grocery store that is pretty much a DMV with food. It's the Department of Motor Vehicles, but you walk in and now you have to shop in that atmosphere with those people helping you, in charge, ringing you up. They're responsible for stocking the shelves with what people need. It's another state-run disaster is what it would be. And his take on it is he wants to undercut the prices of privately owned supermarkets that have done a great job of giving people what they want based on supply and demand. You go to a grocery store and go, could I have some bread? And they go, yeah, we don't have any. And then you go to another one and they have bread. You're just going to go to the one that has bread. And the one that doesn't is going to go out of business. But if his goal is to undermine and undercut and get rid of private-owned businesses so New York State can run a grocery store chain, do you honestly think a state-run agency is going to make sure the shelves are stocked with everything the people need and that it's worked like a fine, well-oiled machine? Or is it going to be yet another government bureaucracy, red tape, boondoggle disaster? And, we'll look like Cuba and Venezuela and the old Soviet Union. What happened? There is no toilet paper. Why is there no toilet paper? What are you talking about? There was plenty here yesterday, because that's who's going to be helping you. What you want, American blue jeans? Remember that? The Russians couldn't get American blue jeans. That's what the Gap will be here. It'll be state-run Gap. Where's my blue jeans? Don't have them. So this guy's whole take on socialism and, what we're supposed to deal with a socialist mayor, they used to try to hide that. Even de Blasio, I guess he went on his honeymoon. He went to Cuba. He was over at the Soviet Union, whatever. But at least he tried to hide it. Well, I wouldn't use the term socialist. Meanwhile, he was. This guy's proud of it. and voters are happy to vote for a socialist. And I haven't even brought up the fact that he's a pretty radical version of Islam. And just saying that, of course, you are Islamophobic. But the people that are voting for him have no idea what that's all about. Socialism. They just hear free stuff. They think it's great because it's free. Free buses. Free and fast buses. He's crowing about this. Do you know what a free New York City bus would look like? It would look like the subway platforms, which they don't enforce turnstile jumping laws anymore. So you get homeless down there. It's warmer than the outside winters, or it's cooler than the heat waves. So they go to places that they can seek shelter. And again, they're mental patients. Their hygiene is terrible. They're not pleasant to be around. Again, you want to solve this? Figure something out. I'm just stating the facts here. If you have buses driving around where you could just get on them for free anywhere in the city, you don't think that the seats on those buses are going to be taken up with those disgusting blankets and people with those blown up maggot legs as they're urinating on themselves, and that's now your bus ride. If you need to take that bus to go to work so you can pay your taxes and your New York City taxes so money can pay for the free buses that are now housing homeless people on your right, and it's just another vicious cycle. That's what will happen. I don't know what they think. This utopian idea that you could just go around and give free stuff out, and the wonderful people of the city will bow in your presence. Thank you. This is paradise. What a lovely free bus this is. I can't thank you enough. Meanwhile, it's not how it works. The system take advantage of, and disgusting people will utilize the free transportation. They're not getting off the bus once they get on. Will the driver have any say if this guy doesn't leave the bus? Won't he be able to get off the bus and then get right back on another one and take up 5 seats with disgusting open wounds on their bodies? And they honestly think this is a good idea. The fare for transportation in New York City is the only wall between people that want to go to work and have some kind of a not even pleasant experience, but at least not a horrible experience on their public transit, and the monsters that are out there. It's the only way to keep monsters away from you and your loved ones when they take transportation. Disgusting. We'll be back in moments with your calls on these topics or whatever else you want to talk about. 800-848-9222. Back in moments with the Anthony Cumia Show. I would think they wouldn't want to go with Zoran because it rhymes with moron. It's very easy to say Zoran the moron. I kind of like Zorhan. It sounds very Lord of the Rings.
I am Zoran.
I am Zoran.
I want free stuff.
Remember Star Trek when Kirk he had that spirit that was kept in a globe and he transferred it into himself, and it was I am Sargon. That's what it's like. Sargon Mumdani. This is Sargon Mumdani. Who cares? It's not a real name. I never knew a Zoran, a Zorhan, or anyone like that in school. It's a fake name.
You mean there was no Zorons in 3rd grade?
Yeah. Zoran Jones. Zoran Smith. Not one Zoran did I ever grow up with. Let's take a few calls. I think Steve from Manhattan. How you doing, Steve?
All right, Anthony. And last week's opening parade, the Mermaid Parade, was the opening act for the parades. And I would tell you that the 65 Immigration Act is now fully kicking in because you have over 1 million Muslims in New York City, and they're all going to vote for Moron or Zoran, Bambi, whatever his name is. Yeah. His father's a super radical too. You got to find out his his father's thoughts about 9/11. What they really want to do now is basically get rid of all the conservatives in New York City and New York State, and that's happening. People who I know are conservative, they're all moving, leaving. Anthony's Exhibit A.
Yeah, I'm gone. Yep.
Not yet, no, because I'm like always be the last man standing. That's my mantra, and it'll always be that way. But the thing is, I will fight for it, but that's what they want, folks. They want to get the conservatives out of here, then the middle class out of here, and they can take over the politics, and we'll be a Xerox copy of California. No matter what anybody tells you, California is gone forever.
Oh, yeah.
It is now a Latin state of confusion out there. That's what it is. Did you see that 400-pound councilwoman out there? That was 500 pounds of food stamps at the podium when she was going off a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. No, I saw that one. There's all these, just the lawlessness in California, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oakland. It's terrible, and no one seems to want to do anything about it. The question I have for you, Steve, maybe you can enlighten me. What is the end goal for ruining, completely destroying a city, driving out the people that are productive, the middle class, just having this disaster of poverty and crime under your command? What's the upside to that? Why is that a goal?
Well, the goal is to clear out the joint and bring in the third world into America. He wants to bring Muslims in here. Let's be honest.
But what is the upside to that for politicians that are trying to do this, and even for Mamdani? Like, why is that good? Is it just strictly religious? He wants a caliphate. He wants some kind of Sharia law because of the religion? Because it seems also that a lot of Democrat politicians that aren't Muslim, they have the same MO. They want to destroy the city, have poverty and crime. And I can never figure out what the end game is, where it's like, well, we won. What did you win? What did you get for destroying an entire city?
Well, what they get is they get the middle class and the hardworking conservatives out of here, out of town. I go through neighborhoods in New York City that have gone forever. I know those neighborhoods are beautiful neighborhoods. What makes up neighborhoods? It's the families that make them up. They want them out here. They don't think in the way we think. People have to realize that. This is a goal of, we conquered. And I always said it on the Bob Grant show. I said, listen, nobody's going to put a uniform on and take over this country. They're going to come in here massively and invade the country. And the criminals in the street, I always said that was their army in the street. That's why they're letting them out. They go after Cuomo.
Is that what you think, sir? Get me my digitalis. Bob Grant was hilarious. You used to call a Bob show?
Oh, I used to call his show so often, and he had the once a week. He suspended it only for one person, for me, on 9/11 and the day after.
You get off my phone, you spatching. I love my phone. So funny. Mario. Steve, thank you for the call, man. I do appreciate it. Wow. Let's talk to Rex. Rex is down there in Florida. What's up, Rex?
Hey, Anthony. How you doing?
Good. Yourself?
Not too bad.
Right.
Listen, I know nothing of New York politics. Never been there.
Lucky you.
Yeah, listening to you, you hear this stuff. And this Zoltan, Guitarzan, whatever his name is, he pulled out the oldest liberal trick in the book: free.
Yep.
Everything's free.
Yep.
And it's so reminiscent of, I don't remember which one, but that one Batman movie where the guy had the messed up voice, and he goes, "For years, the rich have ruled this town. Now we give it back to you."
Yeah.
It's so frightening how these people are just like, well, I'm going to get it for free. I don't care where it's coming from. Sign me up. I don't care.
How do you not look one step deep, one step further into free to go like, well, it can't be free, like really free. So let me take one further step and see where that money is coming from. And then you realize it's not free. This isn't something that's just somehow given to people. They're idiots. They're really not smart people. And that's why when they protest and they're carrying their signs and anyone asks them a question about what they're protesting, even though they profess to be so passionate about the cause, they can never give you an answer to any question you ask them. They get upset, they yell at you, they try to keep you from filming them, and then they run away. They just go, I'm not going to talk to you. Because they're stupid. They're very stupid people. They're very stupid people.
Well, because their cause is their identity.
Yes.
Their cause is who they are.
Very
and
good.
That's all they know.
Yeah.
And they don't, like you said, they won't go one step beyond it to find out what it's about or anything else.
No.
How many times have you talked about just shooting a gun? How you take somebody and you take them to the range and let them fire the gun one time.
Yeah.
And they giggle and laugh and they go, oh, my God, that's so much fun. I got to do it again.
Yeah, yeah. And then you get these staunch anti-Second Amendment people, and they don't even know the most basic things about how a gun works, the gun laws, the different laws from state to state. They know nothing, but they'll hold up a sign saying, less guns, no guns, you're killing our children, gun crime, gun violence. They know nothing about the simplest things that concern the Second Amendment.
Well, and the deeper fear of the whole thing, whatever topic it is the whole cult mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Of just tell me somebody that gives me something that I can go, yeah, I'll latch onto that. And they'll just go with it. They'll just like a lemming off the end of the cliff.
It is. And you know what also shows that? The chanting of this what's his name? What's his name? Whose streets? Our streets. All that nonsense is such cult behavior. It's such you don't have an individual mind. You can't think for yourself. You're part of this collective. You don't have to know what it is. You don't have to bother with details. You want to be part of something, and that's what they do. They're like an infection. They're just cells being brought together into a tumor. Well,
heaven forbid that you have to stand on your own 2 feet. It's easier to have somebody tell you what to do, and you can just lay there on your back and let them drag you around.
Yeah, yeah. When have you ever seen people like conservatives or people on the right, aside from chanting USA, USA, you don't see them chanting things. You see them welcome opposition or an interview.
Exactly.
Hey, what are you here for? Why are you supporting this? They want to let people know why they're there and what they're supporting and what the ideology is behind it. And then the left, they literally run away. They run in fear when asked anything about these causes that they are so passionate about. So there's a big difference. And I don't think it's just that I'm on one side and they're on the other, so they must be stupid. It's proven that they're stupid.
Well, because they know, I think there's somewhere deep down they know they can't even answer the basic questions. That's why they run away.
Yeah, they're afraid.
And they're nobody wants, I have to admit, nobody wants to be wrong. Nobody wants to get into a discussion with somebody and be proven wrong. But if you can't even pronounce the basic arguments of your side, you're going to lose that argument.
Yeah, you're going to lose it. They're so afraid of just lively debate. Having anyone say that, have a differing opinion than them, and they have no knowledge of what they're talking about, so they can't fight back. So they'd rather no one be able to bring up an opposing opinion or anything. It's crazy. Thank you. Thanks, Rex. I got to move on, though, but thanks. Rex down there in Florida, home of Alligator Alcatraz, just talking about that. It's such a funny name. Like, it's just perfect. You could picture it. I've seen some AI renditions of it, and it just looks great. This encampment, and then the water around it, and you see the alligators and pythons. and then an airstrip right there, a nice long airstrip to just get rid of them. People are already complaining that the accommodations, the tents, there's a bunch of giant tents, and there's not any air. They don't have air conditioning. This is just what I'm hearing from the people that are trying to say this is a terrible thing. They've already called it a concentration camp. Yeah, they're trying to, evoke these taboo words and names for the place. But it's perfect. It's exactly what we voted for. I want alligator Alcatraz. And then I heard Trump is going to be there at the opening. Like as they open it, he's going to be the guy, turning the key, flipping the lights on, whatever it takes. I couldn't be happier. It is such a great, fantasy thing. You want a president that comes up with these crazy ass things like alligator Alcatraz. Couldn't be happier. Larry from Staten Island. What's up, my friend?
Well, let me tell you something, Anthony. You are very impressive. I never knew you could do so many impressions so well.
All the time. It was a wasted youth sitting in front of my television set while I was, from the time I was probably 4 years old till last night.
God bless you.
Thank you.
But
sir.
anyway, I want to just do a quickie on defunding the police. But before that, I want to do a 5-second tribute to the late, great Bob Grant.
Yes.
Mario, azenzame, duze providos, facem, and he is.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out. Is there some place to go? Is there some place I can get away from all of this?
When he used to ask for his heart medication. Where's my digitalis? After that phone call, I need my digitalis. When he'd call, what's his name? The mayor washroom attendant, Dinkins. Mayor, it's the tennis mayor, the washroom attendant. So funny, man.
You're great, man. Let me tell you. God bless you.
Thank you, Larry.
Now, quickly with the defunding the police. He's not going to defund the police. The police department's going to self-defund themselves. These guys are leaving the job in droves. There's a big class that went in 2003 that are doomed to get out soon. They're going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will. Can I just say one more thing, too?
Sure.
He wants all these social workers to handle these EDP jobs, which are most of the disturbed jobs. Let me tell you, I've been on hundreds of them. I used to get a knot in my stomach before I responded to the job.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is you're not going to have any available at 3 a.m. And number 4, when the first one gets thrown around like a Samsonite suitcase in the cage, remember that commercial?
Oh, we all do, believe me.
Yeah. When one of them starts getting thrown around like a suitcase, you'll have the police back there. But
maybe
I pray for my brothers and sisters.
Thank you, Larry. I appreciate the call and the compliments, and have yourself a great rest of your Sunday evening. Thank you, Mr. Larry. The police department, the NYPD. The reason New York isn't Chicago or L.A. or Atlanta or Detroit. It's the police department. It's the sheer number of cops here. Because of late, recent history of the NYPD, and I've always loved the NYPD here. The cops have been some of the biggest fans of the old O&A show, and I've supported what they've done. I know so many police officers that many of them are now retired. They did their 20 years and got the hell out of there by the skin of their teeth, a lot of them, because, anything you do from the old school policing is going to get you in trouble and jammed up these days. So it's the sheer numbers that I think have any bearing on New York not having some of the crime that we see in cities like Chicago. But that can end very quickly. The quality of cops has gone down. Let's be honest. When you see some of these women that are as wide as they are tall, trying to chase Kenyan marathon runners down the street because they committed some type of offense, it's not even close. They're not even close to getting these people. So I don't know what kind of deterrent it is, and the idea of defunding the police or giving them duties that don't entail catching criminals. That's the problem. When you look at some of the people on the force, they're incapable of controlling a situation. You'll see 2 female cops trying to get cuffs on a guy, and 2 guys have to come over and help them. Well, why were the women there in the first place? So that's a problem. And then with this Zorhan Zamorhan Memdani wanting to cut that, wanting to put social workers in place of some of the cops to send them on domestic disputes because, we've heard this before. You want to see social workers get their heads cracked open? Then by all means, go with this policy. But the bottom line is a city like New York needs a strong, big police force that can do the job they're supposed to do. And this sounds like something Memdani wants nothing to do with his police department. So, again, we'll see. We'll be back in a minute. Stick around. Anthony Cumia Show. We'll get back to Zoran Memdani and your calls in a moment. But I want to get to a little fake news, perhaps. Fake news.
Now.
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
It's the fake news.
Fake stories.
News moment.
Now, we've heard about the big, beautiful bill. This is some just landmark legislation for Trump, trying to get this passed. Obviously, the Democrats want no part of anything that's Trump. It doesn't matter what it is. Cure for cancer, will be on Mars tomorrow. That they will not sign off on anything. So I guess they made the Republicans read every line of the big, beautiful bill before voting on it. And it took just tens of hours. What was it, 15 hours, something like that? Then they debate on it. It's just a mess. They're doing everything to just try to delay. They're using delay tactics. And to hear people like Schumer and Liz Warren and the like complaining about they had this legislation at midnight and they change it and want us to vote on it without reading it. It's like that was every bill that the Democrats ever tried to pass. Everything. You remember Obamacare, midnight, any gun legislation, whether it's federal, state. I remember the SAFE Act or the Safety Act in New York State. They shoved that through at 2 a.m, and it absolutely infringed on New Yorkers' Second Amendment rights. So they do it all the time. And to say that no one had a chance to read it, it's all people have been talking about is the big, beautiful bill and what's in it. And, again, whether you like what's in it or don't like what's in it, you can't say it hasn't been out there and people haven't been talking about it. And it's some surprise to the Democrats. They're just all about delaying everything and preventing Trump from doing anything. So one of the big things is they like talking about how Medicare, Medicaid, and any medical care for Americans are going to be cut under this terrible bill. And what do we do? How are people going to get medical care? And they word it in a way, again, lying, that it's American citizens that are being cut. And Social Security is being cut. Everything's being cut. Veterans benefits. Nope. It's all the waste. And when it comes to caring for American citizens with things like Medicare and Medicaid and whatnot, it's not Americans that are being cut from this. It's illegals that have been allowed to sap off of this system, again, burdening the American taxpayer. So here's Amy Klobuchar and she's bitching about people. She says people being taken off of medical health care because she can't say Americans, because she knows it's illegals. Listen to her try to finesse her way through this.
What does this bill do? It kicks 16 million people off their health care. 16 million people off their health care. In order to finance tax cuts for the wealthiest, in order to give multimillionaires a $1 tax cut, that doesn't make the world a better place. Adding $4 trillion in debt, $1 trillion of it is interest, which is going to make mortgage rates go up. It's going to make harder for young people to be able to maybe get their first house or pay their rent. It's putting it on their backs. It's putting it on their shoulders. That's why I don't see this as a big, beautiful bill. I see this as a big, beautiful betrayal of the hardworking people of this country.
Good one. Good one. Betrayal. They talk about the deficit, the budget deficit, and inflation, and they never mention what they've done over the course of the years. Trillions of dollars in debt. But the second Trump tries to do something, look, you're either going to cut things and add to the deficit or not and just build it up again. I don't like the idea of tacking trillions more onto our deficit. I don't like that. I don't think anyone does. But things have to be paid for, and it's insane these days. And the job they've done in the past with just the insane spending they've done over the course of decades now, the left, Democrats, whatever, there was never accountability there. They never yelled at anyone on their own team about that. And again, you should use the word people. These are illegals being taken off. And the Social Security cuts that Doge made, it cut trillions of dollars off of what was going out and didn't take anyone off of the Social Security list. They're still getting their checks. Those are people that were somehow 140 years old getting their money. So, again, they lie, they cheat, they steal, and all they want to do is prevent Trump from getting anything done. I also want to talk a little more about the gay parade today. The gay parade. Pride. It's gay. This has to do with guns also. They weren't going to allow cops, gay cops that want to march in this little parade, to march with guns. You could either be on the job and have your gun, but if you were going to march in the parade, you were not allowed to have your firearm with you, which is ridiculous. Why? That's dangerous that a cop would have their gun. Ugh. Back in moments. Don't go anywhere. We'll take more of your calls. We'll talk more about this disaster that is Zorhan Mamdani, Zoran the moron Mamdani, and lots more coming up. So stick around. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir.
All right, terrific. So before I get to my comment, I just wanted to share with you a resource with regard to conservative political thought. I mean, we're inundated every day with the mass media, left-wing propaganda nonstop, but there's one site where you find a lot of good conservative commentary. It's unz.com.
Oh, boy.
All
right. Yeah. We try not to, any unvetted websites put out on the public airwaves. But thank you, Matt. And what do you have on Mamdani?
Okay. Well, with regard to Zoran Mamdani, again, his economic policies are definitely marginal. They're definitely something that I would never endorse.
Yeah.
But there's one positive aspect about Mamdani. that I wish would be echoed by a lot of conservative politicians, and that is that he's not beholden and slavishly pro-Israel in nearly his every utterance.
Now, I've heard this. I've heard this before, Matt. I've heard people go, well, during the debate, I remember they asked all the candidates what their feeling about Israel is and whether they will visit Israel. And all of them said yes, except Mamdani, who said, no, I'm concentrating on New York and whatnot. But I don't, you could be a staunch anti-Semite, and I still don't think it's a good trade-off just because he doesn't want to support Israel to throw him into a city with his socialist and crazy Islamic philosophy.
Right. I would think that, basically that, as an independent politician, that, unlike many mainstream Republican and Democratic politicians alike, that you would have the independence of mind to recognize that having any political lobby that has, such a monopolistic grip on political power and influence over our politicians is a negative thing.
Man.
Insofar as that, and with regard, you would look at the last 20 years, what has the Israel lobby done for the United States? It's gotten us involved in these disastrous wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya.
Sid Rosenberg's going to come for you. Sid's going to come for you. He'll go right to your house and headbutt you with that head of his. Matt, thank you, man. I appreciate the call. It always because I've heard this argument before. Like, oh, Mamdani is the good thing is he's not beholden to Israel. Well, who is he beholden to? Uganda, where he comes from? India, where he learned how to eat rice and chicken with the hand he doesn't wipe with? I hope, for his sake. Like, what is he beholden to? Socialism? I don't care what his feelings about Israel are. Quite frankly, I don't think any American city, the mayor of a big American city or a small one, should have anything to do with any other country. Are you going to go visit? No, I'm the mayor of this, and it does me no good to go to some other country. Concentrate on the city that you live in and that you were elected as the mayor of. Where does going overseas have anything to do with that? Look what happened with that stupid Mayor Bass in Los Angeles. She was in Africa during the fires and wasn't there in Los Angeles taking care of what she should have been taking care of, because she was gallivanting around to the motherland. For what? What good did it do? So that's my point. A lot of these people are asked these questions. Are you going there? Yeah, I don't think any New York City mayor should go to should plan on going to Israel or Germany or France or any other country. Your job is to make sure New York runs right. And many mayors have done that without having to take international trips on our dime to make sure New York works well. So, I can understand people like Matt. Matt doesn't seem like a fan of Israel. I get whatever, it's whatever you want to believe in. I'm not one to tell people what they should or shouldn't believe in or trust or what have you. But, you want to almost give this guy a salute for saying he wouldn't go to Israel. He's a fanatic. He's a fanatic Muslim. I don't know. Doesn't seem very good. Doesn't seem very good to me. Ball, Kevin. Kevin in Long Beach. What's up, sir?
Hey, Ed, how are you?
Oi.
Now, Zora, isn't that the name of the supervillain that Christopher Walken played, Bond villain in View to a Kill? Wasn't that Zoran?
With the blimp, right? He had the blimp. I think it's the machine that Tom Hanks used in Big.
That's it. Yeah, that was that right plan, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that most of Zoran's guys, people that voted for him were all college educated, which gives you an idea of what's going on in the colleges nowadays.
They're indoctrinating. They're indoctrination centers.
Trust fund babies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not smart.
They just want to sit back and watch. Yeah, they just want to sit back and watch the world burn. That's what they want to do.
Yeah, they talk about educated. Being educated doesn't mean you're smart. It doesn't mean you have common sense. It doesn't mean you have the ability to rationally figure something out based on facts. It means you went in to the front door of a college or an institution of higher learning. You were inundated with propaganda, nonsense, and you were indoctrinated, spit out the other end with a diploma in your hand, and this delusion that you were somehow smarter than people that didn't go that route. And that's one of the biggest lies that I think young people have bought into over the course of the years, that going to college will make you a smart person. They look down on people that didn't go to college and look at them like they're less intelligent, not as smart, and don't have the ability to take facts and reason it out in your head and come to a rational conclusion. But the opposite is the actual fact. They are stupid. They're easily influenced, brainwashed. They're very malleable in their beliefs. And it's blatantly obvious that they are the ones making some of the worst decisions in the history of this country.
That's right. And, he wants to give away all of this stuff. And meanwhile, the 2% of the population in New York that pays all the taxes are going to be leaving in droves. Where are you going to get the money from?
Well, Kevin, I don't know if you've heard, Kevin, another one of Mamdani's plans is that even if you leave New York City, if you still do business with the city, you will be taxed a city tax.
Yeah, I heard that.
So,
Yeah,
I'm like, I left. I went to South Carolina. I have a company, an LLC. I work here in New York City for this very radio station. And am I now going to be obligated to fork over money so homeless can stink up free buses? Hell no. Hell no. I would sooner evade my New York City taxes than pay this idiot out of my money, because I left New York. I left. And anyone else that leaves shouldn't be obligated to give one more dime to this city.
That's right. And listen, nobody pays to go on the bus and the subway anymore. I mean, that's the biggest joke of it all.
Yep.
Only the suckers like us pay to go on it.
Suckers. And that's why they broke. They can't maintain the system. They just let people get away with not paying. And it's been very, very bad for the city. Yep. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate the call. A couple of other things going on that we can talk about. The breaking news there, I guess in northern Idaho, there was a fire that was set by somebody who then pulled out a sniper rifle and started shooting at the firefighters and the cops that showed up. Just terrible. I don't know who's terrible. I don't know who does this. We all wait. That's the saddest part of when things like this happen in this country these days. We all sit and scroll on our phones and wait to see who did it. And by who, you don't care who the person is. You want to know the race, the sexuality, whatever it may be, religion. That's what we need to know so we can start spouting our hate and saying that this is a problem. And I'm guilty of it. I do it all the time. My guess on this one is one of these mental patient environmentalists who, because they've been known to set fires, and it's called environmental terrorism. And if you're starting fires and then shooting at the people that show up, especially firefighters, I mean, it's no better if it's a cop that you're shooting at. It's pretty bad. But these firefighters, man, what are they doing that they deserve to be shot at and killed? It's terrible. I don't know what the casualties are yet, but just a terrible scenario there in northern Idaho. I hope they have the resources like Russia, where they could just send a drone, maybe a little night vision, a little infrared, and find this guy and then just drive an explosive right into him. I don't know why we're so compelled to take these people alive and they'll face justice. Someone like this that's going to start a fire, an emergency, and firefighters come in and you shoot at them, they don't deserve due process. Part of the due process is you might get killed doing this. That's part of due process. If you're in a position where you're threatening people with a sniper rifle like this and a drone can spot you, yeah, grenade, drone, problem solved. And then we're done. We're done with them. That would be nice. So that's a terrible thing going on right now. What else is going on? Oh, Chicago. This is the mayor of Chicago is a good litmus test for New York. He's another one that is a communist, socialist, whatever you want to call it. Not good. He's not good for the city. They had that Lori Lightfoot in there for so long, and she was terrible looking too. Just a real, some otherworldly kind of a look, a Tolkien kind of a look to her. And she was a terrible mayor. And again, a city gets an opportunity to change that and vote someone in that maybe has different policies and a plan to make the city better. And what did they do? They elected someone worse than Lori Lightfoot. And this guy has done so much damage to Chicago. Obviously, the crime, the assaults and murders going on in Chicago are terrible. And he doesn't want to do anything about it. Let's be honest. He's a black mayor, and he doesn't want to seem like he's being racist against black people or holding them accountable because that's his base. And you know, a lot of black politicians don't like holding their black constituency accountable for crimes because then they don't want to look like what's called an Uncle Tom or what have you. So this guy's just let Chicago fall apart, for that matter. Let's listen to some words of wisdom from the Chicago mayor. And just imagine New York with Zoran Mamdani, Zoran, whatever. And how soon, how quickly will New York become a city like Chicago and have a mayor speaking like this?
I believe it was last Sunday, we had the highest amount of folks coming through O'Hare Airport ever. There was a report just last week, I believe, that the city of Chicago is the #1 destination for the 4th of July anywhere in the world. Chicago is demonstrating that it is in well care when a progressive is leading.
In well care.
Progressive voices across this country are rising up, and the city of Chicago is leading the way. And with the density within, communities like where we are today, it allows for more activity to take place. It allows for economic vibrancy to growth, and it actually speaks to public safety. The more vibrant and the more people that are around, the less likely it is for people to cut up. So, it's a clear testament to the leadership in the 48th Ward, the chambers of commerce that are working together, my administration, to ensure that we continue to show up with resources to build maximum impact for our economy.
Can you believe that? Saying that the vibrancy of the diversity and the people in Chicago, that's what makes it, safer? Less likely to cut up? Is that like pop off? Cut up? Your city's terrible. Every weekend is a slaughter of minority people, of black people, Hispanic people, and nothing is done about it. This is the same guy that got rid of the shot finder, the system in Chicago where it would triangulate where a gunshot was fired from, so the cops didn't have to be there and hear it, and it would let the cops know exactly where that shot was fired from, and then they would go to that area and see if they could find the gunman. He got rid of that because it turned out too many people of color were the ones on the other end of the gun. And it was deemed that the shot finder was racist. So this guy's terrible. That progressive mayors in the country, mayors of big cities, progressive mayors of big cities have made things better and made the cities safer. Show me an example, please. I defy you to show me an example of that logic. And, Chicago, what is it? The second, third, I think, largest city. And it's a disaster. And this is what's happening to a lot of these cities. They're electing these left-wing fanatic politicians that have no interest whatsoever in making the city better. They promote all this free stuff. They let criminals run the streets, and they do nothing about it. It's terrible. And that's where we're aimed. We're aimed for that with Zoran the Moran, Mamdani. When we come back, Zoran talks about violent crime, but says that there really isn't violent crime. It's just a concept. He's insane. And people buy this and they love him. A lot of the celebrities in New York, you got a lot of celebrities, left-wing celebrities. They were campaigning for him and cheering him on. Cynthia Nixon, that from Sex and the City, a lesbian that just happens to have a trans kid. What are the odds? Oh, 1,000,000 to 1, by the way. 1,000,000 to 1. But they, it's natural. It's what it is. These lunatics want this guy to be mayor. Oh, New York. What have you done? Back in a moment. Anthony Cumia Show. He's been obviously making the rounds. He's doing all the talk shows. He's getting his platform out there to the people. And, New York is a dangerous place. A lot of people don't want to admit it. They go, I walk around every day, nothing happens. Well, it doesn't mean it's not a dangerous place. You could be lucky. But this guy, Zoran Mamdani, he says that a lot of crimes that are classified as violent crimes aren't really violent crimes. Oh, it's crazy, right? You would think. But he says they're not. And again, this is a grave misconception. Some of his examples aren't violent crimes. But the fact that they're coupled with violence makes it a violent crime. I think one of his examples is stealing packages. Like you have a FedEx or UPS delivered to your house or your apartment and people steal it. And he goes, that shouldn't be considered a violent crime. Well, no, unless you've kicked the door in or you're threatening a person that lives there or you have a weapon on you. There are plenty of extenuating circumstances that make it a violent crime. Again, I think if you're just stealing a package, I don't think that does qualify as violent crime. But if you're in jail for stealing a package, I think you look a little deeper and find out he resisted arrest and hit a law enforcement officer. That's a violent crime. They never want to fill in the blanks. So let's listen to Zoran here talk about things like burglary and other crimes that shouldn't be considered violent crimes.
Oftentimes, we've even found as legislators, when we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction. And we have to be very clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence of the highest degree.
So arresting them, putting them through the system, and incarcerating them, that's the violence, people. Everything else is just an artificial construct. Like when you get your head caved in by a lead pipe, that was just an artificial construct. As they're artificially constructing your skull with plaster and a steel plate. Maybe that's what he means by an artificial construct. A glitch in the matrix. What is? Are you crazy? He's trying to say that doing things like this, making burglaries when there's a dwelling, if you steal from a place that a dwelling is next to it, that isn't violence. Well, ask the person that lives there. Did they break anything? Bust a door down? Vandalize your property? I would sure want it classified as violent. I would really want that. But for some reason, this guy, he doesn't care. He doesn't think it's violent. Mike, Sheep's Head Bay. Ooh, ritzy. What's up, Mike?
Hey, how are you, Anthony?
Good.
I just want to put out, all right, I just want to put out to you, since 2023, we've spent $8 billion on illegal immigration, illegal aliens in this city.
Crazy.
And, it is crazy. And, Mayor Adams is still slow walking this situation. It is inundated in this particular area, Coney Island and in Brighton Beach. And again, he's not moving fast enough on this. And I'm just saying, and he's already just signed another $1 billion contract to shelter more homeless and more immigration.
Yeah.
It was in the New York Post last week. Come on, man. How do you expect me, really, or anybody to take this guy seriously? I'm not voting for this guy. I ain't. I'm not, and that's it.
Yeah. I'm
just telling you, it's wrong, it's outrageous, and it's not right. We're paying for it, and we didn't vote for this.
That's how it's been working, and it's terrible. The good one of the good things that happened recently is the Supreme Court deciding that these activist judges, these district court judges, can't just put the brakes on every single thing the Trump administration is trying to do to better the country. I mean, they've been putting the kibosh on so many things, and finally, the Supreme Court came out with a decision that said they cannot do this. So we'll see if that actually works and maybe gets these things done a little quicker. I don't know, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I do know that if he doesn't act upon this, people in this community who voted for Trump, who are liberal, who are Republican, who are Democrat in this area, they're not going to vote for him.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and congested pricing, too. You talk about taxation from the other guy, Zion, who wants to tax the whites. Well,
White
listen, right. But congested pricing is the same thing for the American citizens.
Yeah.
The congested pricing is trying to support the transit authority. Is that not a joke?
Yeah, it is.
You know
I mean, again, how about you actually collect the fares for the subway and the buses and don't let tens of thousands of people jump over these things with impunity, because that's what happens. And again, Anthony, we were just talking about before, you're the sucker. You're the sucker if... Yep.
I'll throw you one better. How about taking the $8 billion that we spent since 2023 and put that maybe towards
that'll
the
never
transit
happen.
authority. This way,
Mike, I got to move on,
on
but thank you so much for your call, Mike from Sheepshead Bay. We'll be back in a few minutes. More of your calls and a Hillary Clinton clip that, of course, yuck, Hillary. Back in a flash. Anthony Cumia is over. 29th, 30 days has September, April, June, and November. So we got one more day of Pride Month. But then it's got like LGBTQ Day or something. It's all so gay. Why do we still have to hear anything from Hillary Clinton? That's the big question, isn't it? She was somebody. She used to be somebody many years ago. At this point, Secretary of State, married to Bill, of course, criminal, as I like to call her, left a just a trail. I don't know how far I could go here, but, she's like John Wick with the trail of destruction, the wake of destruction. But another example, she's talking about misinformation being posted on social media. And people love to think that the Republicans and Trump is a dictator. He's the oppressive, tyrannical king. That's what they've been saying. And you rarely hear somebody on the right talk about censorship, that they want things censored. Now, I hear you screaming already. What about the books? They banned books. Yeah, in school. Some parents don't want that. They don't want their kids learning about gay sex and being able to go to the library in school and get a book that is showing graphic images of sex, even if it's heterosex, whatever. Some parents don't want their kids to be exposed to that at a certain age. And if some parents don't care, there are plenty of resources that they can go to show their kid debaucherous, degenerate sex without it being part of a school curriculum. But other than that, it's very rare that you'll see people on the right wanting to shut down platforms, internet platforms, because of content. Hillary Clinton, she made a statement about misinformation and goes to the lengths. Yes, she would like to see people arrested for posting certain things, which is insane. It is the exact opposite of what this country was founded on, at least one of the biggies, that First Amendment. Coming in at number one with a bullet, it's freedom of speech. And listen to Hillary here suggesting jail for people that post things.
And boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrent.
A better deterrent than what, and civilly or criminally charged for what they call misinformation and disinformation. Let's look back during the COVID disaster. A lot of stuff that had later been proven to be absolutely true was looked at as being disinformation. And what happened to those people? Well, a lot of them were removed from these social media platforms. Before Elon scooped up Twitter and turned it into X, you would get your account permanently suspended for posting that ivermectin could help, or that the vaccine didn't do anything, or so many things, so many topics about COVID and the medical community, and you would be gone. Now, Hillary is suggesting that if something like that happened again, maybe that misinformation should put you in jail. And then what happens in 2 years, 3 years later when it's deemed that was not misinformation? They let you out and go, sorry? It's people like her and the Democrats that love telling people they can't speak their mind, and even more so telling people they're not allowed to listen to people that are posting things. That's the biggest part of it. Freedom of speech, of course we want to be able to exercise our freedom of speech, but the freedom to be able to listen is a big one. You curtail one person's freedom of speech, you're curtailing an entire auditorium's freedom to listen to that person. When these colleges tell a controversial speaker that they can't speak because of security issues, meanwhile, it's just because the liberal indoctrination center does not want that person to be heard. So you shut that one person up, but what you've done is plug the ears of an entire group of people that might have wanted to hear that person speak and might have heard something they like in there and gone, wow, I never looked at it that way, or maybe I'll do a little more research on this. Whatever it may be, they want to prevent you from hearing different ideas. It's obvious. They've done it for years. But the fact that this old hen, is still cackling her nonsense in public is amazing to me. And you want to talk about misinformation and disinformation, and it's out there, she says, oh, yeah, people are guilty of it. Yeah, CNN, MSNBC, all the network news agencies, they're the ones. They're the ones that told you that Joe Biden was fit as a fiddle, sharp as a tack. Oh, my goodness. Just the interns, the White House interns have a hard time keeping up with them. Do they? Do they? I don't believe it. I think that's a lie. Should we send some of the reporters, the journalists, the writers from MSNBC and CNN to jail? Some civil or maybe criminal penalties? Would that help Hillary? Yee. She is the worst. Julius from Brooklyn. Julius, what's up?
What's up, Anthony? Before anything, I just want to make this clear that your show and Ron and Fez were a big help when I was in the Army.
Oh, well, thank you. You were a big help to the country when you were in the Army. Thank you for your service. Thank you. I was a Navy SEAL. I was a fighter, a governor. I tried to go to
I like Jesse Ventura, man.
Area 51.
I like him.
Why are you interrupting me when I'm talking about going to Area 51? They wouldn't let me in because there's aliens. All right, Jesse. Thank you. Anyway, what's up, Julius?
Yeah, well, with that said, I'm also like, I guess I would be the leftist that is supposedly the guy who runs away from a debate.
Ah, but you wanted a little debate on something. It seems.
If you don't mind, and I promise, out of my sheer fandom for the old days, and I wish it was back in the late '90s again, where I'd be smoking pot and drinking.
Don't we all?
It was wonderful back then, before everything else.
Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, just hanging out. It was all so easy back then, wasn't it, Julius?
The good porn. God damn it.
All right, maybe we should get back on point.
Yeah, I forgot. I got a chick, and she'll get pissed off. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So let's clear this out. Okay, the whole thing of the food bank. They have that in Europe, and it would not be communist. A communist system would be where basically the state, where like the Soviet Union, would be growing the food, and they would be running it based on numbers indicators, which I could bore you to death. It's basically where they predicted based on how many people are going to be alive next year, so this is how much we produce. That's not how it works. A food bank would be they buy from the sources, from private sources directly, and it would be run like a co-op, and it would be the same thing like a post office. And before anything, the post office. I'm
glad you used that. Hold on, Julius.
Wait.
I'm glad you used the post office as an example. But go ahead, continue.
No, I know what you're going to say. Yeah. But the reason why the post office is screwed up is because back in the 2000s, the Republicans set up this whole retirement plan, which was genius. It was all to break the finances of the post office by forcing them to adopt a 75-year ahead retirement plan for every worker. Mm-hmm. So every worker thereafter, they would have to plan it out. Okay, so this is how much you're going to have to spend on retirement, basically bleeding out the money.
Yeah, I've heard how some of these entitlements after...
It's not an entitlement, it's retirement.
Retirement funds, yeah. It's breaking a lot of institutions and things. I understand that.
Because they wanted to privatize the post office the same way they want to privatize the VA.
But how
and
do
I
you
could go on that some other day.
I want to know how you can see a state-run thing like a supermarkets,
It
like a
wouldn't be.
supermarket chain.
It wouldn't be because it would be community owned. Also, it would be local. It would be local. It'd be run like a co-op, so it'd be a non-profit. So
yeah, better be, because New York City hasn't been able to make anything profitable. Never mind.
Government should not be about making profit. Government should be about serving the people.
Well, he said pass the
citizenry.
savings on to you. How would a state-run supermarket be cheaper?
Because it's all about because you know this about automobiles. It's about how these people jack up the prices. Like if you go to different supermarkets, like I went to California, they sell the same stuff, and usually like there's these two shops, Ralph's and food. I'm sorry, I forgot the other one. It's like the lower level one, but it's run by the same company, and basically they sell 90% of the same stuff in both markets, except that one is deemed as higher end.
Yeah,
because it's like, depending on the location.
But they're private companies. They're run by like people, corporations.
That's fine. That's fine. So why should the people care about what how much corporations make money?
Has a horrible track record.
It's not the state. It's going to be
it's not. Did you hear it? Did you hear him talking about it?
We are all the public. We are the state. Look. I know this sounds.
You're trying to make it sound like it's just like a private enterprise. But it's not.
Public enterprise,
He
sort
is
of like
saying
how it does in Norway
he is saying
and
it will be a state-run supermarket. The New York City will run it. They will have to stock the shelves. They will hire the people, and it will look like Department of Motor Vehicle. And they will have to make sure that the demand is supplied by what they put in these stores. They are incapable of running anything efficiently, the city. Put it this way. Hold on, Julius. Hold on.
Okay.
Do you remember something called New York City OTB, off-track betting? They went bankrupt being a horse race bookie. New York City lost money being a bookie for a horse race.
My question is, what is the state doing? Why should the state operate a betting parlor, period? Like, that should be
that's a whole nother argument. But when you lose money on something everyone else makes money on, it's kind of a good example of how inefficient.
Well, Anthony, this is where I could bring up how Trump lost money running a casino.
Yeah, well, it was a private busined though. That's a private enterprise, and look, times maybe.
Well, how much money was ponied up by the New Jersey taxpayers?
Hey, I know I gave him a few bucks at that Trump casino.
Well, I'm talking about before that, when they were building it up back in the 80s. Come on.
Yeah.
The guy got abatements. Like it's a wonderful scam. I don't blame him for taking
business.
Of it.
It's not a scam because he wasn't doing anything illegal. I like how people bring up Trump's scams when it's like he did everything by the book that these legislators, whenever they complain about taxes, and it's like, pay your fair share. Why aren't you doing this? You're making the laws, legislators.
Because
you're the ones guilty.
Paid off by these corporations and all these guys. Why should we?
Julius, I would love to argue with you all day and night, but I have to move on. I appreciate your call, Mr. Julius. We'll be back in moments with more and your calls and a lot more on the Anthony Cumia Show. Another one like Hillary who just go away. She left the country. She put her money where her big auger-like mouth is, and said she was going to leave the United States of America if Donald Trump became president. He did, and then she did. She left. She went to Ireland. Poor Ireland, dealing with her. And all she can do, being over there, is complain about Donald Trump. She goes on all these talk shows over there. They call them chat shows like they do in England, in Ireland. Chat shows. And just talks about how terrible Donald Trump is and how awful he was to her, and the physical and mental anguish and pain she endured being in the United States under a Trump presidency. Again, just go away. Enjoy your life on the Emerald Isle. But she just can't stay out of it. I call her Rosie Ozempic now because it looks like she tried the Ozempic. She lost a lot of weight, but looks like really drawn and gaunt and terrible. But here she is talking about what poor health Donald Trump put her in. She's blaming Trump for her poor health. Amazing. Listen.
During his first go-round, it was very difficult, and I got myself into some bad places. You know, I was very, very depressed. I was eating. I was over-drinking. I was so depressed, Chris. I can't, it hurt my heart that America believed the lies about him, and then it broke my heart to be in a business that creates and sells those lies for profit. You know, it was very heavy, to tell you the truth.
Very heavy. She was. And she took the Ozempic. Yeah, I mean, all she can do now is just bitch about Donald Trump. I was eating and drinking. Yeah, well, how does another person force you to do that? Especially, it's not even like you're in a relationship with the person. I can understand that. There's plenty of husbands out there that need a belt, a little shot of Jack before they go home to deal with the wife. Or maybe the other way around, too. We get it. But Rosie, like, the president made you drink and eat too much and put you in poor health? Now, I do understand that he did attack her personally, which was hilarious. I think we can all agree when he said slob, when he was asked, does he call women slobs? And he said, just Rosie O'Donnell. Hilarious. When the president, everyone saw it. So maybe in that respect, but he hasn't even mentioned her in quite some time. And you're in beautiful Bunny, Ireland. What are you doing? Why not just enjoy your life? I don't think she can enjoy anything. She seems to have been miserable her entire life. And, Godspeed. Have fun there, Rosie. Pull it together. How about that? Pull it together. Here's Mark in New Jersey, wants to elaborate a little bit on these supermarket things, these state-run supermarkets. What's up, Mark? Yellow? Are you there? No? Well, he bailed. He realized he couldn't compete with the likes of me. Well, it wouldn't be a Sunday without Susan. Susan, how are you, my dear?
Hey, well, listen, you're giving us a lot of great topics here.
Yes.
I'm going to sort of redirect a bit to the Working Families Party. Okay, Madami has that party, that line on the ballot in the general election, as well as the Democratic line.
Right.
And I actually was very active in grassroots politics in Brooklyn back, in 2000s when Letitia James came into power.
Okay. Right.
Through the Working Families Party. She beat the Democratic Democratic
Susan.
candidate.
Did I take Susan's call a little too close to a break? Because Susan likes to elaborate. We love you, Susan. But you got to really speed it up at this point. Go ahead.
Okay. No, the Working Families Party gets volunteers from the whole country. That's how Madami got all those volunteers.
Okay.
Curtis needs to get his independent party line along with the Republican line to compete. And we can't throw do not throw Curtis out with the bathwater.
No, I'm not throwing Curtis out with the bathwater. I'm going to throw you out with the scotch, though, right now, because I got to go to a break. So have a good shot on me, and we'll be right back with the Anthony Cumia Show. Donald Trump is talking about energy. Energy prices are down. I could see it. You know, I'm a big boy. I actually have to pay for things like oil and gas and around my house and fuel for the vehicle, things like that. And I've noticed the prices have been coming down. And one of the reasons is that Donald Trump, his administration, isn't afraid to utilize the resources that we have here in abundance. You may remember during Trump's first term, we were energy independent. We were the biggest exporter of energy in the world over any of the OPEC nations. Our reserves were full to the brim. Our fuel reserves, emergency fuel reserves, which then Joe Biden used to get gas prices to fall a little bit right before the election. That was his gimmick. Didn't quite pan out, did it? But Trump was talking about coal and oil, fossil fuel, as they call it, and not wind and solar. I think the big, beautiful bill had a lot of cuts to a lot of this alternative energy sources like wind and solar and whatnot. And Trump is like, look, we got coal. We got plenty of coal. We got plenty of oil. Let's burn it, baby. Let's power our country. Let's listen to Trump talk about energy.
Opened up coal. We were closing all our coal mines all over the country, and yet we still have a lot of coal. We use the generating plants of coal because it's the strongest, and we're doing coal. So we have everything, every form. I don't want windmills destroying our place. I don't want, these solar things where they go for miles and they cover up a half a mountain that are ugly as hell. And by the way, the panels are all made, and the windmills, they're all made in China. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, if alternative energy like solar and wind was efficient, that'd be great. Some places can use those alternative energy sources, and it's wonderful. You're out in the desert, you want to put up some panels, that's fantastic. Going to be great. If you're in a valley that the wind whips through and you put up a windmill, awesome. But these aren't energy sources that you can transport somewhere. And that's, I think, what people don't really understand. You could take a truck full of coal, a train, huge trains full of coal, and take it from one side of the country to the other. And all that energy can be used. You can't do that with wind or solar. You can't put it in a battery. Batteries are unbelievably inefficient in converting energy from one area to another and transporting it with a battery. It's terrible. And we are really good at keeping coal and oil as clean as is humanly possible. You look at some of the pollution that was around some of these big cities, especially L.A., which had that smog problem many years ago. They don't really get that a lot now because the energy, the cars, everything is a lot more efficient and a lot cleaner than it used to be. And why the hell should we sacrifice these amazing energy resources we have in this country when India and China and so many of these other third world nations are spewing some of the worst gases and waste into the atmosphere? And we're good. We're the ones that make sure it's cleaned up, as clean as it can be. So why? Why should we sacrifice it? It's great to have a president that sees that, and isn't willing to give in to the left. So I love it. Thank you, Donald, once again. Who's this, Silas? Is that your name, Silas from Staten Island? Silas? Silly.
Yeah.
Because you're silly. You're silly, Jerry.
The one thing with, as far as running a store,
Yeah.
You could ask Katzimercedes about it. It's called shrinkage. Those shelves would be empty so fast.
Yes.
Even if it was for a profit, and then they would come in there, steal everything, and sell it. If the state took over the drug trade, they would lose money.
Yeah.
They would lose money. And
I mean, how much money? How much money do you think New York State is making with these, or any state really, with their prescription marijuana? They're you have your pot card, and you go to the dispensary and you get it. Are they making the incredible amount of money on taxes that they said they were going to make?
Exactly. I wanted to suggest to you, if you pull up the Gap Band, their song called "You Dropped a Bomb on Me."
I remember that one. Sure,
would be appropriate. But I could give you the phone call that Donald Trump gave to the mullahs. He went all ghetto on them, and he said, "Okay, yo, my nizzle, if you mess with another American, I just proved to you that I can fly into your country, open a can of whoop ass on you, and get back home. And you know that's right. So call me Mac Daddy, because homie don't play that."
I think we saw,
and they said, "Oh, this man ain't playing."
Yeah, I think that's what we saw, and it seems like the ceasefire is holding, and we'll see what happens. But America's involvement in that, over and above just giving the resources to Israel and the missiles and everything else, like our direct involvement was very limited, very surgical.
Yeah.
And then Iran kind of sent some missiles, called the bases in advance, and shot off some things off target and went, "Yeah, see, we're tough." And that fixed it. It was the end. What happened to World War III? We were supposed to have World War III, and that didn't pan out. So,
no, those mullahs know that he knows where they live.
Yeah, I know. They get a missile right through their window.
They want to send people to die, but they don't want to die.
Yep. Thank you,
tell them straight up.
Silas, as I've been corrected. Silas. Jerry from Jersey. What's up, sir?
Anthony, I just wanted to ask you, why do the Republicans do such a terrible job fighting that basic ideology of the left on climate? I mean, Joe Biden used to go around all the time saying that he was saving the planet, that there was this existential
threat. That was the big line. It's an existential threat. And then they keep pushing the goalpost further and further. In 10 years, we won't have this. Florida will be underwater. And then 10 years comes about, and we're supposed to forget about it. And then they just say another 10 years and, call them out on this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we should just lay it down that there is no emergency, there is no crisis, that the current warming that's taken place is perfectly normal. And the idea that CO2 controls climate and all the Earth's temperatures is just ridiculous. I mean, there's no science there at all. When they married this junk science to the feckless politicians, we are just blowing so much money and opportunity with this junk science. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem promising that Trump pulled out of the Paris Accord, and a lot of these climate change bills that they try to pass are shot down now. And I think more people are saying, especially conservatives, obviously, that are saying, yeah, we're not doing this, and they seem to back off a little bit. But it is junk science. Whenever you try to refute it with someone, they'll go, "Oh, you know more than a scientist." Like, what, a bought and paid for scientist that is agenda driven or proof positive? Where is the proof that the sea levels are rising? You could see photos from over 100 years ago of a coastline that hasn't budged, and they will insist that sea levels are rising. Prove it. They've never proven one of these claims that climate is an existential threat.
I mean, they're always changing. 65 million years ago, the shoreline of New Jersey was freehold. That's where the dinosaurs were hanging out. So
I mean,
the idea.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Obviously, thanks, Jerry. Yeah, obviously things change. The Earth The Earth's crust moves and erosion, things like that. But it's not because the sea levels are rising because of that existential threat of climate change. And it's just the usual clowns. Who's that? Greta Thunberg. She went from climate change to she's a supporter of Palestine and Palestinians and then something else. That's what these people do. They're like locusts. They go to one place, destroy whatever's in their way, and then move on to something else. Terrible. Damon from California, what's up? Hello?
Hi, hello? Can you hear
Hey,
me?
there you are. What's up, man?
Okay, you might vomit aware. This is a real crazy question. It's probably has nothing to do with what you mentioned. I just want to know, what's your opinion on divorces and breakups?
Well, I went through one back in 2000, I guess. I was married for 9 years. Most of those years was as a sheet metal worker in air conditioning and heating. Then I got into radio. I made thank goodness, a very large amount of money on the Opie and Anthony show. And my wife at the time and her lawyer, who happened to be bloated attorney Dominic Barber from the Howard Stern show, was my wife's lawyer, totally raped me for about $1 million. I had to give her $1 million. And like I said, most of the time we spent together I was in air conditioning and heating. And then the radio portion of it, I don't think she did one voice. I don't think she came up with one entertaining break. She sat there not having to work. And when all was said and done and the divorce was over, I owed her $1 million. So I'm not a fan, let's say, of divorce.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, what's weird is some people can get over it and they say whatever. Some people never get over it. Some people, it just all depends.
Well, I was lucky that I had money. I had the amount of money to pay her and also to continue living in the lifestyle in which I was used to. That's what they said. Dominic Barbara, if you remember from Stern's show, he's like, he tells me, he goes, you both have done very well, and she should share in your success. Like, share? I was successful in spite of having her as a wife. Oh, she was always just a lush, embarrassing, falling down in front of my bosses in Boston. Oh, it was terrible. Why'd you have to bring this up, David?
Oh, because I've had one a couple of years ago, and I can't just. I was saying, for some people it's just difficult. Some people can't get over it.
No, I've moved on.
Even if you find move on somebody else, it's like it won't be the same.
No, you got to get over it though. What are you? How old are you?
I'll be 48 this July.
All right. Yeah, you should get over it. Thanks, Damon. Get over those things. We all have to move on. As you get older, you look back on certain relationships that you had and how you felt about them and what you did during those relationships. And it's just embarrassing. It is embarrassing. Like, I was so infatuated, in love, whatever that is, with a girl. We had hooked up in 1999 and got together. That kind of forced my divorce. When you get a girlfriend and you're married, kind of forces the divorce. But I was so in love and just infatuated and lusting and everything. And I think everything I did and said and the stress of it all. And I look back now and just go, was I an idiot? Like I was a lovesick puppy retard walking around and for years. And now I look back and just go, what are you, a dope? So there is some wisdom that comes with age, and you just got to move past it. The hardest thing I've had to move past is the embarrassment of how I acted and thought about this relationship and how important it was to me. And, I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. I think that's the major problem. We'll take a quick call before the next break from Rich in Connecticut. What's up, Rich?
Yes, hi. I'd just like to support the idea of global warming, climate change, with a few quick facts.
Sure.
The U.S. Navy has spent billions over the last 20 years raising their docks and ports. Two, that Florida, for example, seawalls have been moved inward, and one can't get insurance for flooding there. And three, glaciers have declined. In my lifetime, I know glaciers from Switzerland to Alaska, and they've receded 1,000 feet. I know three glaciers that have. And lastly, the concept that one can't discuss global warming without understanding concepts of albedo. That's like a roof reflectivity. The reflectivity of the Earth has changed with the decline of the whiteness of glaciers, and so the Earth is on a course towards heating up because of that.
Well, that does sound existential.
It can be. Absolutely.
I don't know. I have no problem believing that human beings during their history on this planet, especially after the Industrial Revolution, have had some effect on weather patterns, maybe more locally than global, depending on what area you're in. Obviously, if you live next to a factory that's bellowing out smoke all day, I think your rate of sunshine in that area is going to be less. But I just haven't seen any evidence that we are in a global crisis because of what we've done on this planet over the past 150 years or so.
I'll give you a quick example.
Please do.
Fluorocarbons. Industry
I know
agreed
that
it was global.
Yeah, I used to pump that stuff out of the air conditioning coils every day. Chlorofluorocarbons. Where is it? Vent to atmosphere we used to do when we had to empty an air conditioning system. Now you have to recover it. The Freon, what was called Freon, you have to recover it into the bottles. But years ago, we just cut the line and you'd hear and watch this cloud of toxicity. So maybe, I don't know, Rich, maybe you got a point.
So that proves that industry agreed that the impact of humans on the global atmosphere was global.
I don't know.
Fluorocarbons is the example of that.
I'd like to see a little more proof. But thank you for the call. I listen to everybody. That's how I roll, yo. I get the calls on. I don't care what your opinion is. I'm not going to poo-poo it, especially with something like climate change. Like, just don't tell me that I have to put money toward it and it's existential. And, we're all done in 10 years if I don't take a chunk of my tax money and give it to some program. While like I said, India and China and a lot of these third world nations that are trying to compete in 2025 are belching out disgusting toxic waste into the atmosphere. But you're coming for my paycheck because, we burn a little coal. Screw you. That's what I say.
How dare you?
How dare you? I couldn't even stay in school. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Oh, shut it. That one. The Mo Howard haircut. Pete Rose hair. All right. Back in a flash. Anthony Cumia. Tonight, I guess they had the press conference already. Oh, maybe it's their time. At this time, the shelter in place has been lifted. However, there's still an active wildfire. Still set the fire. So he's dead. He's dead. The shooter that supposedly started a fire there in Idaho and opened fire on firemen and police. He is deceased. It almost sounds like if they found a body that he took himself out, or did the cops do it? Isn't there just something better if the cops got him than if he just blew his own brains out? Same end result. He's gone. We don't have to worry about a trial or any other nonsense. But just to let the cops know that they got him, that would be nice. Wendy from East Northport, is that where you're from, Long Island?
That would be I.
Yeah, I used to live there. Yeah.
So right here, not too far from me.
Right behind Fred's Diner on Jericho Turnpike.
There was also a Fred's Carpet Store on Lockfield Road.
How about that?
For many years.
Oh, yeah.
First, I have to say, are we not so lucky having Trump as president? He is not the funniest. And you know what? The Dems hate him because he's so effective. He actually does the things that he says he's going to do, and they just can't stand that.
They hate it. Yeah, and it's a lot of things. And a lot of presidents, they go through their entire administration. They have what they call one piece of like groundbreaking legislation, and that's it. And it took 4 years to do this one thing. And Trump is just like, he's throwing stuff against the wall, see if it sticks. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, he just, regroups and does something else. So he's a hard act to follow. And we'll see.
And not only that, if a politician did do something that he said he was going to do, he would only do it like 4 months before he was running for election.
Right. Save it for the re-election. And if he's a lame duck, they wouldn't do anything. Like a lot of times, the president in their second term, they don't do anything. So it's good to see. Trump is a juggernaut, man. He's just plowing right through this.
I know.
This term, working every day.
Yep. So listen, I just want to say a quick comment about the climate change. The government doesn't even believe it, because if they did, every single new house that they'd be building in America would have solar panels on it. But they don't have solar panels on it because the lobbyists pay them off.
It's very regional, too, solar panels. I mean, they're not efficient. They're not even efficient under optimum circumstances. The way that that photons from the sun are changed into electricity is very wasteful on solar panels. It's not efficient. And then you get things like overcast or mountains or whatever is going to block the sunlight. It's terrible. And it's not transportable energy. You don't put it in a battery and ship it across the country like you could fuel or coal or anything like that. Unfortunately, people are so petrified of nuclear energy, which is the cleanest, most efficient, and safest, right up until something goes wrong. But, they've scared us out of using nuclear energy. So,
well, I will say, hello?
Yes, Wendy.
Yeah, well, here in East Northport, we do have a lot of solar panels, and I will say that I have a neighbor around the corner who gathers enough solar energy and they sell it back to LIPA. So they do work, but that's my whole point, is that when it's like the government really doesn't even believe it, because if they did, they would be doing the same
maybe
thing.
It would be all over, especially on government buildings. You'd think they would, practice what they preach.
Yeah, well, they're starting now after like 20, 30 years. Now you see them on the car parking lot.
Again, they work where they work, and it's very regional. But thank you, Wendy. Enjoy East Northport. I remember going into Northport, Long Island. It was a town just west of East Northport, I believe. But it was right on the upper, the North Shore of Long Island. And they had a lot of good bars there. But the Northport Police Department was notorious, man. That was police Pac-Man your way out of Northport. You'd have a few drinks, and you'd have to drive right down Main Street in Northport. And I'll be damned if you just get pulled over all the time. It was the worst place to go if you were going to be drinking and then, have to drive home. But some of the best bars, it was very tempting for the younger people. And back then, sometimes you could actually talk your way out of a DWI back in my day, but not with Northport. Maybe Suffolk County cops, but not the Northport cops. Very, very scary. All right. I think you should enjoy the rest of your gay month. We have our gay month closing out tomorrow. June has been gay month. and it's the 30th tomorrow. So it's your last day to be gay, to be really, really gay in the country. Had the parade here. I cannot wait to board that aircraft and get my ass back to South Carolina tomorrow. I do enjoy coming here. The people I see, you guys, thank you, everybody, your texts and all the people that help me out doing this show every Sunday, even the version from my house. The callers, I do appreciate it. And we'll be back next Sunday. And God knows what'll be happening then. Until then, have yourselves a great rest of your gay day.